What up, what up?
Yes, good afternoon and welcome to episode 29, I think, of Addicted to Film.
Something like that.
That is Travis Hopson to
That's
my
Tim
left.
Gordon.
Hey, man.
What's going on, man?
Nobody's happy, man. It's football season, man. I know we're going to talk movies, and we have some good ones coming up that you're going to tell them about momentarily.
Right.
But let's just start the show by saying, before we even get there, that nobody's happy, man.
No. I just showed you the post on that's going on around Chicago right now about there being screaming and guys getting pulled out of the locker room in Chicago after that game. I just had some guy from upstairs come and say, "Yeah, my team just beat you guys."
You know, I'm gonna tell you something, man. You handled that in a way that I have to commend you, because if you'd have done that to me in the mood I'm in right now, I'd be like, "What?" But
I was listening to your game on the way in here, so I was like, "Oh man, he's not gonna be good."
Now, mind you, remember I raced home last week,
right,
to a 27-0 beatdown against the team that I hate the worst in the NFL, which is the Philadelphia Eagles. And then we're playing the Dallas Cowboys today, a team I don't necessarily hate, but a team I respect. And we just gave the game away again today. So, you know, hey, man.
It's not over yet, though.
It's not over, man.
It's what, maybe 2 scores I think you're down?
Yeah,
now?
but you want to hear the irony? You know how most weeks, like we end the show, that Peyton Manning has always done something that's ruined my fantasy day?
Yeah.
I'm actually ahead in all 3 games I'm
That's
playing. I'm actually
great.
all 4 games, all 4 leagues I'm playing, and I'm actually winning.
That's great. You know what? And I'll probably end up winning my game this week because I'm playing my good friend John Nolan, my partner at Punch Drunk Critics.
Cinema
and he has
con queso.
Right, and he has the worst team in our league by a good margin. His team is awful. So I might hold on to win this week, but I might not win another game the rest of the year because Trent Richardson got hurt.
Yeah.
Fred Jackson got hurt. That's both my running backs. They're both gone. I got nobody on the bench, so I'm screwed. But anyway,
Well, hey, man. We'll have plenty more fantasy talk coming up throughout the show as I'm looking
fantasy
at
and movies.
Look at that, up by 14, man, just rolling. But anyway, man. So what are we talking about today, Travis? What movies?
Yeah, well, this week we're going to be talking about Fury, starring Brad Pitt, Shia LaBeouf, World War II movie. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Dear White People, which you and I have talked about off and on a lot.
Yeah, but we're going to really talk about it today.
We'll be able to really talk about it now. The movie's out in theaters.
Yep.
Let's talk about our little meeting with Justin Simeon and the director of that movie. And also The Book of Life, the new animated film, which did really well at the box office this week.
You know, Travis, I didn't mean to cut you.
It's okay.
But talking about Justin Simeon, we would have played that interview today.
We would have.
Except
he didn't want us to.
He didn't want to
He
record.
didn't want to video it.
But he clearly videoed an interview before we got in because he talked about his makeup. You remember that?
Oh, I know. And he was on Lawrence O'Donnell I think on Friday.
I'm saying, for the people,
not comparing us to Lawrence O'Donnell on MSNBC or anything.
But I'm gonna save it because this Dear White People thing, man, I cannot remember, Travis, a movie, and maybe Sundance will have a new one this year. There'll be some other big time movie that'll kind of like brush us to the side, and then we'll have to spend months waiting for it to be released, and then it's antagonizing the director,
right.
Which I thought he handled it well.
Well, he did. So he got to meet Justin Simeon, and I think we've probably told the story here how we got the runaround by his people at Sundance.
Let's save it for the Dear White People review.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
all right. So let's not do that.
All right.
So go ahead.
So we got about 10 minutes, man. So were you finished running down the movies that we were doing today? You said The Book of Life.
Those are 3 movies we're going to be talking about. Those are only 3. There are a lot more we could have talked about, but those are the big 3 we're going to talk about.
All right.
This week.
So we've gotten through the element of previewing what we're doing today on the show.
Right.
Okay.
Was there something you wanted to bring up?
Oh, absolutely. Now about 2 months ago, I think it was, maybe 3 months after Comic-Con.
Okay.
I think around that time you were
talking
talking about
yes.
Marvel making the announcement that, or Marvel Studios, making the announcement that Kevin Feige had, like, what did you tell me at the time? Like 10 movies or 10 dates that they had that already selected?
Like 7 or 8, yeah.
All right, so they had about 78 dates. So, and at the time, I was face palming you continuously that Warner Brothers and the DC comic universe
you're a
were
DC
just
guy.
like, I'm a huge DC guy, and I've really been upset at how DC has not had up until this week finally the foresight to think about, let's make a plan and try to not necessarily do what Marvel is doing exactly, but let's plan out a universe and do something. And this week they made an announcement that made me smile, Travis.
I'm sure it did, and I thought about you when this news broke. But they released like 10 different movies, revealed 10 movies, stretching all the way through 2020. So they're looking way ahead. So if you're tired of superhero movies, then fuck, I'm sorry, because you're gonna be drowning in superhero movies for the next 6 years for the most part. You're not gonna be able to get away. It's gonna be at least 4 a year for the next 6 years. So just deal with it.
But the thing go ahead, but I'll let you finish. Okay, I have another point.
So you got Batman vs Superman, which there was a lot of talk about that this week because Jenna Malone is apparently going to be playing Robin.
Yeah, I heard you.
Female Robin, which
guys,
I
man.
love Jenna Malone, so I don't.
But what did you think about her as a female Robin, man?
In terms of playing Carrie Kelly, I think it's fine. Carrie Kelly is in The Dark Knight Returns, so it makes sense for her to be in this movie. And she just colored her hair red. She looks like Carrie Kelly. I'm happy with it. I'm more than happy with it, actually.
Okay.
So if they're going to do it, I'm happy it's her. So you got Batman vs Superman. That's going to be followed by Suicide Squad, which I think is really interesting.
Right.
That movie's next up. That's going to be directed by David Ayer, the guy who did Fury, the movie we're going to talk about in a little while. Okay. He also did End of Watch. He wrote Training Day. He wrote The Fast and the Furious, the very first one. He did Sabotage.
Nice.
Guy's got a pretty good run of mostly cop movies.
Yeah.
So but Fury was a change of pace for him too, and this will be another change of pace. We got a Cyborg movie coming in 2020, which I can't believe they're doing a movie on Cyborg. We got Aquaman.
You mean in a good way or a bad way? You can't believe
in
it.
A bad way. We have Jason Momoa's Aquaman movie coming up. We got Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot.
How come we had gotten Adrian Grenier from Entourage to play Aquaman? He played him on the show.
Get him to play Black Manta or something. We got a Flash movie with Ezra Miller starring as the Flash.
Love Flash.
The kid from who played the psychotic son, and We Need to Talk About Kevin, which is crazy. We got a Green Lantern movie in 2020 also, which I'm surprised they're announcing that so quick.
Right.
And we got 2 Justice League movies. Not to mention the Shazam movie with Dwayne Johnson.
All right, so let me ask you. So
it's a lot of shit, man. And
let me ask you, what did you think? What do you think as it relates to what Marvel has been doing and now what DC Comics is coming out with finally?
I've been talking about this a lot this week. I talked about it this morning actually on another show. I'm really happy about it, and I'm happy because finally Warner Brothers has a goddamn plan. Because I felt like when Green Lantern stunk up the joint a few years ago, it like totally threw them for a loop. They're like, man, we don't know if we can even launch one of these things now after Christopher Nolan. We don't know if we can do it.
Right.
So they were just kind of floundering, man, while Marvel just kept going along. Marvel kept going along, getting bigger. And Warner Brothers didn't have shit. They had nothing going on. So Man of Steel gave them that opening they needed. And now they're finally going to walk through the damn door and start doing this thing, have a plan laid out. I'm surprised at how ambitious it is, but I'm glad that they at least have a playbook.
Now, are you surprised at how ambitious it is by virtue that they haven't been doing anything consistently, unlike Marvel? See, when Marvel, Kevin Feige announced probably several months ago, you and I talked about this on the show, that he had a plan up through 2028.
Right.
None of us blinked because Marvel's kind of like had, their plan has been in place. They've been executing it. They've gone through Universe 1. I mean, the first stage of Universe 1. Yeah. They're working on the second stage, soon to be the third stage. So I wasn't surprised with Marvel's plan. I am a tad taken back by you having 10 dates and you bunching them into the next 6 years. It seems like, I don't know. I mean, maybe is it catch up?
That's no different than what Marvel's going to be doing, though. They do 2 movies a year.
Yeah, but Marvel's different because Marvel's been doing 2 movies a year, man, probably, about the last 5 or 6 years?
Yeah. But also you got to figure what? We had Man of Steel. Was that last year?
That was last year.
Okay, so they had 1 movie that year. We have Batman vs Superman. When is that? That's in 2016.
16.
So you got 2 years basically of preparation for the very next movie.
Yeah, but here's the issue though, Travis. After you get to 2016, between 2016 and 2020, how many movies is that coming out for DC?
What, 9?
Really?
9,
so
10?
9 movies in 4 years? I'm not. Watch this. I'm not mad, but I'm just saying that.
But the thing is, also, you got to look at it this way. A lot of the infrastructure for this stuff is already in place. Zack Snyder, David Goyer, those guys are going to be running the show on a lot of this stuff, right? They're going to be
talking about as the kind of
overseeing everything,
right?
Yeah. So the infrastructure is already in place. In terms of Zack Snyder, he's going to be directing both Justice League movies. So it's not as if he's
still not in love with that idea, man. For obvious reasons.
But the point being that you don't need to go out and look for a new director and come up with a new anything for that. It's there. It's in place, right? So you don't need to do that. And a lot of these characters are going to appear in Batman vs Superman. So you already have some stuff already going on, and the fact that it's being announced now gives them time to prepare and get ahead of it. So I can understand. I see you looking at Fantastic Four stuff right now.
No. I was looking, but because we don't have a lot of time to talk about this. But I was going to say,
all the time in the world talking
no,
about.
we don't, because we
we
got 3 movies, man, and I'm not short-shrifting a movie talking about this because we can always come back to this.
We can talk whatever the hell we want.
Oh, yeah, okay, whatever, man. Anyway, I was going to say that DC has been making hay on television in a way where I know Marvel has the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but, between Arrow and Flash, I actually watched the opening, or I guess the debut episode of Flash.
Yeah, it's good.
Which I thought was actually really good.
It's good. Arrow's the best show on TV, in my opinion.
I have not. Well, was there a crossover in that first episode? Was that Arrow?
Arrow and the Flash first appeared on Arrow. And Arrow appeared in The Flash, his first episode.
I thought that was mad cool. I saw that. I was like, okay, cool.
You got Gotham on Fox.
Yeah, man.
They got a lot of stuff coming. Warner Brothers is doing more on TV than Marvel.
Warner Brothers is kicking Marvel's butt on television.
But Marvel's got the Netflix shows coming up, the 5 Netflix shows coming up. They got Agent Carter coming up early next year.
I just have one question before we get out this segment.
All right.
Outside of Blade, and maybe Anthony Mackie is Falcon. And I'm not being funny. I'm just saying this.
Blade's my favorite superhero franchise.
Is there any opportunity for anybody of color, black, to be?
Well, I'll tell you.
Seriously,
I'll tell you this.
Marvel and DC, you guys got 20 movies out. Can a brother be in one?
Okay. Well, Cyborg is black.
Finally.
So he's gonna get it. He's gonna be in Batman Superman. You got a black guy there, okay? You happy?
Where's Luke Cage?
He's got his show. He's one of the Netflix shows.
Okay,
Luke
stop.
Cage.
Can I get a Luke Cage movie? Can I get a Black Panther movie?
Hold on, man. Well, all this stuff is gonna happen. They're gonna do a Black Panther movie. They've been talking about it for a while.
What is this, like the presidency? I have to go through 44 movies before I get like the 45th movie or be the
Luke
brother
Cage
movie?
is in a better position. You give him a TV show. He's on every week. That's even better. And the characters from the TV shows, we already know they're connected to the movies. So
okay. You're not bothered by this. Seriously.
I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not bothered by it.
Man.
You know why I'm not bothered by it? Because we have Anthony Mackie as the freaking Falcon, and he might be Captain America soon.
Nope.
Because don't say that.
Maybe.
Don't say that, because Marvel announced this week that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in Captain America 3, and then they're going to base the storylines for Phase 3 on Civil War.
So is Civil War, is that where the transition takes place?
Civil War is the beginning of the story where Captain America gets his ass killed at the end. So
thanks for ruining it for all of us.
Yeah, everybody knew that anyway.
I didn't know it.
You need to pay attention to this stuff, man. But Chris Evans has been trying to get out of his contract for a while. His contract's almost
seriously,
up.
that is the one where he gets killed and the Falcon steps in as the new Captain America?
No, at that point, it's Winter Soldier who steps in, which they might still go with Winter Soldier. But with the fact that Falcon only recently became Captain America in the comics and people have been responding to it really well, they have 2 choices. They can either go with Sebastian Stan's Winter Soldier as Cap, or Anthony Mackie's Falcon. So we don't know which one they'll end up going with. But the fact is, we got Anthony Mackie in a prominent position and is one of the most important Marvel characters. We got Samuel L. Jackson, arguably the most important character in the Marvel universe outside of Iron Man.
I love Nick Fury. Yeah.
No, I don't get upset. I don't get upset.
I was trying to rile you up, man. It didn't work. Come on, man. This doesn't bother you.
I'm good,
Travis,
man.
Look, Travis, look. Really? Okay, man, go ahead.
That's
All right,
good, man.
movie number one, man. Let's hit it, bro.
All right, let's roll the first clip. We're gonna talk about Fury, starring Brad Pitt. Let's go with that.
God damn it! What was that? We got hit! I lost it! What, you alright? A controversy with your manual! Fight, boy, you say to fight! Bible, hit it! On what? Coming around, he's coming around! Order, you gotta outrun that gun! Oh, I got it! Fire! Put it, sir, right and center. Bible, put it up his ass when the armor's thin. I know! You can hit him! On you bear! Hold away! God damn it, I sent the ass! We're moving too fast, it's not that... Get in! Come on, boy, stay on it! Order, when I say back up, you back up, left stick. All right. Bible, stand by, I'll call the shot. Roger! Order, now, reverse! Left stick! Hey! Bible, steady! Don't keep jumping out! Come on, Bible! Come on, you shoot him! Steady! Now! On one! Ready, one more! Ready! Again! On one!
Of that scene right there. That is an awesome scene from Fury. We talked about this just a little bit earlier. That film was directed by David Ayer, who did End of Watch, all those other cop movies. And this is a big, old school style World War II movie, as far as I'm concerned. The kind Hollywood doesn't make that many of anymore.
I heard you say that.
Right, and it's one of the reasons why I really was digging this movie. Brad Pitt stars as Sergeant War Daddy. That's a badass name too, War Daddy. That should be a superhero name.
War Daddy's a beast.
War Daddy's a beast. And he leads a 5-man tank crew. You saw most of the cast right there. Right. Shia LaBeouf, Michael Pena, John Bernthal, Logan Lerman. And basically, this is set at the tail end of World War II. And so the war is winding down. But as War Daddy says, there's still plenty of people that got to die.
Yes.
And plenty of people do die in this movie. This is David Ayer, so it's an extremely violent R-rated style movie, and I think it's great personally. I mean, I think the way that they why are you looking at me like that? When you look at me like that, it usually means you're disagreeing with me already.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm waiting to get in. You know how they say that two people either are listening or waiting to talk. I'm in a waiting to talk mode.
Okay.
Look,
but the problem is I know your face. Your face usually means you're disagreeing. So
actually,
what do you disagree with me on?
Actually, technically, I don't disagree. I enjoyed Fury immensely, but you know how in movie speak when you go to pitch a script,
right.
And you say is this, and this.
Right.
This movie to me is really easy. It's like Training Day meets Platoon with the Wild Bunch sprinkled in it. That's basically what it is. But by virtue that all three of those movies I really liked a lot, this is not a problem. Fury is actually, I think it's really well done.
Yeah,
I talked to somebody, and I'm not sure if it was you, Wilson Morales, somebody I know, critic buddy of mine who saw it earlier, and I was like, is there any possible awards buzz? No, it wasn't either of you guys. It was somebody, and somebody told me, hey, it's only the technical stuff, but maybe not the script. But I think Brad Pitt is really solid here as this hardened, grizzled staff sergeant, like who has made a promise to lead his men to safety, and how you've got this new young recruit who represents to me the Ethan Hawke character who comes in and that he kind of gives him a training day. It's almost like the day they hang out is a training day where he's trying to teach him to do your job. Right. You know, hey, I realized you were a typist 6 weeks ago. You're in the war now. Your job is to kill the Nazis. So, yeah, I mean, I like the story. But I think at this stage, and I'm not being funny, Travis, because we were in an interview and I said this to a director who I thought was going to get mad at me. We watch so many movies, and I'm not making this up. We watch so many movies that movies are familiar. I watch them now and go, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
but I'm not saying it's not good.
Right.
But it's familiar.
It is good. It is good. And I guess in some respects it's familiar. But like I said before, when was the last time we had a war movie like this, though?
Probably Platoon.
It's been a long time.
And I'm trying to think. It was another film that was in the 90s, Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan.
They don't make them. They make
Somebody
one
said-
every 10, 15
Somebody
years.
told me Miracle at St. Anna, but that movie's no good.
No, Miracle at
That
St. Anna is
the
not
movie's
this
no good.
movie. No,
So,
no.
But sorry, Spike, it's no good.
What about Inglourious Bastards? But that's
See,
kind
but
of
see,
a
that's
that's
the
kind
thing.
of a
And I was
satire.
gonna bring up Inglourious Bastards because a lot of people that I was talking with were just saying, "Oh, he's just doing Inglourious Bastards again." No, he's not.
No.
This Sergeant War Daddy is not Aldo Rain. They're
No.
not the same, and he's not bringing the same stuff to this role as he brought to Aldo Rain.
agree.
So anybody who makes that comparison, I always tell them you're being lazy. You're just seeing two war movies, and you're just saying, "Oh, they're both the same." No, they're not. They're not at all the same. The movies aren't the same, and the characters aren't the same.
But did you get my platoon analogy?
Yeah.
So okay, and the Wild Bunch analogy because
I can see it. I can see it.
So, but I like
would-
the movie though.
What I would, yeah, no, I actually like the movie an awful lot, and I wish that Brad Pitt's character had a little bit more presented, because I think then he would be getting Oscar nominations.
You talking about for his backstory?
I think his character we don't really get to know him all that well. We see him, and we kind of get the idea that he's a guy who has been so affected by the war. He spent, and I think this probably goes for all the characters.
Yeah, but you're actually right though.
They've spent so much time in this mobile weapon of destruction. That's basically their home,
Right.
You know, that it's had a bit of an effect on all of them. Now, what I would say is, I wish we could have saw the psychological effects of that a little bit more.
Well,
We see bits and pieces of it, especially in that middle section, which is
right,
my-
and that's what
my
I was going to say.
favorite-
That's my
favorite
best scene in the
It's
movie.
the best part of the movie. There's this
You talking about when they're in the house?
Yep.
Yeah,
There's a
that's great. That's
there's
great.
a great scene.
I would agree.
And
I would agree.
I called it something like an interlude, basically. Like, you get this break from the fighting. They go and they occupy this German town, and they're in this home with these two women, and it's just War Daddy and Logan Lerman's character
Right,
for
but-
a long period of time.
But set it up
And-
though on how they come in there. Set that part up. I'm talking about when they get up into the house.
Well, you do that.
Well, I was gonna say that when they initially come in, Pitt sees one of the ladies looking
Right.
out the window who's trying to hide.
Right.
He comes upstairs and he brings Logan Lerman with him, who's the young recruit that he's giving
Yep,
the training
yep.
day to. When they come in the house, they discover that there's a second young lady there who's slightly
She
younger
was hiding.
that she's protecting.
Yeah.
In that moment, which I thought was really well done, you get a sense of the type of individual that Brad Pitt is. That we have not, we haven't. That aspect of his personality hasn't been revealed previously.
Yep.
He's compassionate. He's kind. You see that he's there. He speaks multiple languages. He communicates, comforts them. He actually has some food that he brings and he presents to them.
But
I
he
love that
also
scene.
right. And then, the great thing about that part is the tension in it, because first of all, like you said, we don't know enough about War Daddy at that point to know what his intentions are.
Right.
Like, is he going to rape these women? Right. You know, and then there's tension from the other side too. Is there somebody else in the house? Is there something else going on? Are they going to try and kill the soldiers? Is there something else going on? But then it gets ramped up again when the rest of the crew comes in. And you see aspects of all of their personalities, and I think that's when they really show, how the war has affected all of them. You have Pena's character, who's an alcoholic. He's terrible.
What's the name? Who's the animal?
Yep, he's an animal, and then, and then Shia LaBeouf's character is the religious one, which I thought Shia LaBeouf did one of the best performances he's ever done.
Well, it's interesting about that because I was sharing with you that I teach my movie class, which is about spirituality and film, and I actually used this film as a field trip to take my class on Thursday, and I was pointing all these aspects out of what was Shia LaBeouf, because I had a feeling that the Logan Lerman character wasn't necessarily spiritual, but he was just trying to survive. He was young, he was new. He reminded me a lot of Charlie Sheen in Platoon, which is why I keep drawing that analogy of a fresh-faced young kid.
He was a regular guy.
Yeah, a regular guy thrust into a really bad situation and having to learn really quick on the job. And they show you aspects of that earlier in the film as well.
I got the feeling that Shia LaBeouf's character, and this could be just me putting this on his character and not the script, because I feel like the script lets them down sometimes a little bit, and the actors bring stuff out that the script doesn't put into it.
Okay.
I got the feeling that LaBeouf's character probably became religious during the war.
You think so? See,
Yeah.
I got the feeling
I
that he
kinda
was
got the feeling.
always that, and he had to reconcile in a way that Logan Lerman's character had to. But then he
I
understood that in order to stay alive, he had to put his beliefs.
I
Yeah,
kinda-
at least.
yeah.
But it's open for interpretation.
Right,
I can
right.
see your point as well.
Yeah. So I mean, I liked an awful lot about this movie.
Yeah,
but that
we
middle
both liked
section, was
section is
terrific.
great,
though.
man.
It felt like a horror. I told somebody it felt like something Quentin Tarantino would have done. Like it felt like that kind of scene with a group of people in this one place, and it's just talk. It's just conversation, and there's tension everywhere. You don't know where it's going to go. I had no clue how that thing was going to go.
Well, you know what I thought was really interesting, and I share with my class, is that at the beginning of the movie, there's this huge emphasis where they've lost one of their colleagues at the beginning.
Did you see when they were mopping when they had Logan Lerman?
Yeah.
That was
brutal.
Don't be eating anything during the first few minutes of this.
Brutal.
Oh, it was awful.
But I was gonna say that the movie,
David Ayer does not skimp on how powerful these tanks and these weapons are. Let's just put it that way.
Oh man,
they will screw somebody up bad.
Right. But I was gonna say that I thought it was really what I call good circular filmmaking, because he starts off showing you five survivors and one gone, and then you completely have a turnaround toward the end.
Did you just spoil the movie?
I'm not spoiling the movie. The movie came out Friday. Really? I'm gonna spoil something that's out.
You think everybody went to see the movie already?
Watch this. Secondly, from a class standpoint, the guys put their faith in Brad Pitt's character War Daddy at the beginning of the film. By the time the inevitable comes toward the end, they understand that faith is not necessarily misplaced, but you got to put your faith someplace else. And I thought that from Ayer's standpoint of writing and for my class, it works really well as a film that I can teach.
Well, I feel like he's always been so good at showing the camaraderie amongst brothers in blue. I think it transfers pretty well over to brothers in green as well.
Well, he's always good at camaraderie and like military, police. All of these films would work. So you're saying, so let me do an aside, because we got like a couple of minutes before we get to the next movie. His next project is going to be what?
His next project is Suicide Squad. For Warner Brothers.
He works well with teams, movies with teams.
Do you know what the Suicide Squad is?
I have no clue. All I know is that anything said squad, I'm assuming it's a group of people.
Of course. The Suicide Squad is basically, they're like DC's version of the Expendables.
Really?
They are a group of villains who are hired by the government. Do you remember in Green Lantern, Angela Bassett's character, Amanda Waller?
Yeah.
She's the leader of the Suicide Squad. She works for the government. She commands them. So the Suicide Squad is a group of villains who are captured by the government, and they are forced to go on suicide missions that they aren't expected to ever come back from. And if they succeed, then they get pardons. If they don't, well,
I thought you were going to say they keep getting more suicide missions.
Well, they do. They do keep getting more assignments because the government is screwed up. And, and Amanda Waller is a bitch. So they do.
Wow.
Well, she is. Her character, her basic character, Amanda Waller, is always a bitch.
Okay.
And even because there's a version of Amanda Waller in Arrow, played by another actress. I can't remember her name, and she's a bitch there too. I mean, that's just Amanda Waller. She's just a bitch. So if they don't succeed in the missions, well, they're dead.
Then you just
they're
did,
dead.
right?
So it doesn't matter. So they're basically the Expendables,
right?
Which David Ayer can obviously do that. He can obviously do that kind of movie. He'll just be doing it with superpowers,
right? I agree. So the take-home message is we both like Fury a whole lot.
We both like Fury a lot.
Now, last question. Do you think Fury has – I mean, because you and I have seen some of the movies that are going to be contenders coming down the line.
Right.
Does Fury have a shot?
I think it has a pretty good shot of making however many number of best picture movies they're going to have this year.
Probably 10.
Between
9 and 10.
If they have 9 and 10, then I think Fury will end up being one of them. And the fact that it's opened pretty strong, I think it opened with $23 million this week, which ain't bad for a $60 million movie, R-rated movie, R-rated war movie.
Mm-hmm.
Those are usually factors that will
good performances.
Yeah. So I think it's a pretty good start, and I think that movie could sneak in.
All right. I agree.
Yep.
I like Fury a whole lot, man. So what's up next, Travis?
All right, our next movie is Dear White People.
Ah!
I can't wait to get your notes on this one. All right, so let's roll a clip from Dear White People.
The tip test. You hit up Jellies for a snack. Your waitress mistakes you for someone who looks like you, black, who once ran up a $30 bill and left a $1 tip. You watch all the other customers order before you do.
Pastrami sandwich on rye.
And then proceed to wait no less than 40 minutes for your food. How do you tip? A.
40 minutes? She's lucky if she gets 40 cents. Okay, you do a good job, maybe see a tip.
B.
She was tripping, but 15% is the least I can do.
Or C.
I reject the stereotype that African Americans do not tip. I will leave 20, no, 25, just to prove that I can. $100 oof the nose job.
Dear white people. There you go, man. I'll let you start off on this one. Do you want to talk about?
No. I'm gonna try to be complimentary because the movie's out and all of the stories and everything that because we've been talking about this movie, man, for 8 months. But
we saw it in January.
But dear white people, man, judging from that scene right there, as a satire, I thought you and I both would agree that there's some really strong stuff that's in the film, some entertaining
it's
stuff
hilarious.
that's in the film. I would acknowledge that.
Yep.
And also I would also acknowledge right now that I have not seen the film since we saw it back in Sundance in January, and here we are in October.
Me neither.
As I said on my show the other day, I probably believe that both you and I would best be served if we had a refresher to watch it again. Because, I'm not being funny.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
We talk about the festival bubble. And Travis, tell them what the festival bubble is.
The festival bubble is where you basically have a skewed perception of a movie because you are in the middle of a festival surrounded by critics, surrounded by audiences, surrounded by just this atmosphere of, it's like you're in this secret cabal. And you're seeing these movies nobody else will ever see. So you either skew them as being worse than they are, or
like
skew them as
really
being
good.
a great movie that when you see it like 6 months later, you're like, really? I like that movie?
Man,
like that?
I can't believe I like that.
Right. So that's the festival bubble. In a nutshell.
Yeah, so I'm saying that I felt like we were in the festival bubble. And it didn't also, and I think honestly, and I'm going to be very transparent here.
Especially for this movie, we might have been in this special festival bubble because you and I can both agree everybody was excited for this movie.
Oh man, you remember the screening at Sundance? I mean, the night they had the premiere. I think the cast, they were tweeting pictures out. Everybody's like, woo, the buzz is electric on Dear White People.
Yep.
And you go in there with these heightened expectations. And then on top of that, the drama that happened behind the scenes. I mean, but Travis, let's be real. You are a person that has emotions, man. So if if there's a perception,
I've heard some others claim otherwise, but yes, I do have emotions.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you feel like you're being jerked around, that will have an effect on what you think about the finished product. It just will.
Right.
So I'm saying all that to say that I don't hate Dear White People. And no matter what Wellington Love, I know you're watching, I'm calling you out by name, what Wellington Love thought about my opinion, which caused him to cancel both Travis's interview and my interview with the cast, which I still outsmarted you, Wellington Love, because I caught star Tessa Thompson on the dance floor of the after party and still got a review in.
He did.
Not a review, an interview.
He accosted her at the awards party.
I did not accost her.
And shook her down for an interview, and he got it, and I give you credit for it. I was there too, just standing.
And you stood behind me like
I was standing there like 2 feet away listening. Actually, I wasn't listening as much as I was staring at her.
Oh my God, Tessa Thompson she's a hottie.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. And I did something, and I took a picture with her that typically you've seen enough pictures that I've taken that I'd never do. I was sitting there like this.
I got a pretty cheesy picture with her too. So
but I'm sorry. You asked me about the movie. So having said that, I think Dear White People is what it was advertised. Travis, is the school days for this generation.
Yep.
A smart kind of a satire that looks at the role of race on a college campus in the post-Obama presidency and how that race is actually I think, a little smarter with this racial politics in a way that Spike Lee's film, School Days, was not. Where his film just kind of focused on, the difference between the within the race, light skins, dark skins, jigaboos and the wannabes. Yep. This movie actually tackles some subjects because you're looking at a variety of different African-American archetypes that are in the film. You've got like the Tessa Thompson character. You got the Tyler James Williams character.
Who's gay. Gay. His character is gay. A gay black man.
Right.
So in that way, that's Justin Simien kind of putting himself into the movie,
right,
which he's talked about before because he's a gay black man.
Which actually makes perfect sense now because you remember our original comment when we saw the movie that it seemed like Tyler James Williams was in another movie and he felt like he didn't fit.
Yeah.
So that was Justin Simien.
Yep. Maybe
his message about him not fitting into this group, that group, any other group. So thinking of it that way, I think it's a really smart move. And I think Tyler James Williams does an amazing job. But I love Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, you have a number of characters who are dealing with identity issues in this movie. And expectations and prejudices. And it's not just the Tyler James Williams character who's in there as well, but you have the one guy, I think his first name is Brandon something, who's the son of the dean, played by Dennis Haysbert. So he's dealing with expectations of being like the model black man when he's not really that way.
Right.
Like it's not who he is.
Because he's a wannabe gangster.
Well, he wants to get in good with the white guys.
Right.
But he's not. It's not really his personality either, so he's dealing with.
Well, his father wants him to get in.
His father, he's doing it for them. Yeah, the black chick who wants
Tiana Paris,
who wants to be on a reality show. She wants to be a reality celebrity. You got a lot of different things.
She said she didn't date black guys. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why I was saying with the racial politics.
Right.
I thought they were really well done.
Right. But that's what I mean when I say that the movie kind of loses its focus. I get why all that stuff is in there.
Right.
But it's like, I think it probably should have narrowed down a little bit on what it really wanted to focus on. Because the best parts about it are the parts with Tessa Thompson, kind of talking about how racism is now. Like how it's different than it was back then. All that other stuff, I think, kind of muddles the message a little bit.
And we left that out. That she's a host of a radio show on campus
called Dear
White People, and it starts every show as Dear White People. If you only have 2 black friends and one is your weed man. So, I mean, I thought it was really well done. Right. I thought it was funny. And Tessa Thompson, who we've seen in For Colored Girls. I'm trying to remember what else I've seen in. She's
on Veronica Mars.
Season. She's also upcoming in Selma. But she's really strong. And this is, to me, kind of like her breakout role. Because, to me, she's probably the best reason to watch this movie. The reason you want to go in, Tessa Thompson. Yeah.
No, she's great.
Yeah.
She reminded me of Hector Elizondo in Do the Right Thing. Not Hector Elizondo. What's his name?
Roger Gilbert Smith?
No. In Do the Right Thing, the guy with the glasses. Why can't I remember his name?
Giancarlo Esposito.
Why did Hector Elizondo? Where'd that come from? But she reminded me of him and like passion and how
come we ain't got no brothers up on the wall?
Right. She's kind of like that. If she was to Do the Right Thing, she'd be saying the same thing probably. Right. So I really dug her in this movie a lot, and I want to find a way to get her and Gugu Mbatha Raw in a movie together.
Oh man!
Because then I think I would probably just play that movie on. I would just play that movie on a loop.
You've already seen Beyond the Lights, right?
I've seen Beyond the Lights,
dude. Yeah. I'm telling you, I was at the premiere Beyond the Lights. I was sitting there like this. Me and another guy, we was like.
In fact, we talked to Nate Parker and Gina Prince Blythewood just the other day about that movie.
You know that interview's already posted live, right?
Where?
Where else would it be posted live?
You didn't send it to me.
I know. It's a surprise.
So we already talked to him about that. And
see that face? That's the surprise.
Oh, by the way, remember how we couldn't take any pictures? We didn't have time. The bobby pin chick took pictures with them after her interview.
See, there's this thing called information that I can't use. Basically, what Travis is referring to, we had an opportunity to interview Gina Prince Blythewood and Nate Parker a couple of days ago. Now, I feel real stupid
Nate Parker,
because I saw them
being in a room with a man as handsome as me.
This is true. I saw them the night before and easily could have taken a picture, but I elected to have a longer 20-minute conversation with Gina Prince Blythewood.
I forgot how gorgeous she is.
She's actually a very beautiful woman, and she's mad cool. She actually teased me because when I told her about the Black Reel Awards, which Travis votes on, I found it. She reminded me that her husband has a shiny Black Reel Award at home, and where are her 3 Black Reel Awards? And
what movie did he win it for?
I'm not sure if it was Biker Boys. No. Dancing in September.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, Dancing in September. So I was on the
TV
spotlight. Where's my Black Reel Award? I was like,
So you said, sorry, you're not going to get it for the Secret Life of Bees.
She gave me some information. No, she actually won for Secret Life of Bees.
Oh, God.
That you voted on, yes.
I did not vote for that movie.
I love how you have plausible deniability
I
for
do.
everything.
I didn't vote for that movie.
Travis Hopson has been voting for the Black Reel Award since 2000 and can't remember.
2000. I've been voting for that thing for like 3 years.
Yeah, three plus 8.
I did not vote for the Secret Life of Bees, even if I was around during that time.
Man.
I know I didn't vote for it.
So basically, do we like Dear White People?
Yes. Do I think it has flaws? Yes, I do. And I think, that's just kind of the thing that people do. And it's not just us. Everybody does it when it comes to movies. If you don't think something's perfect, they kind of assume you don't like it. And it's like at the end of the year when you do like your best of list. Mm-hmm. And it's like, hey, I did my top 20 movies, but if I left one out, apparently I didn't like it. It's kind of the same thing, especially with movies that people are anticipating, like Dear White People. And I think people have kind of got glommed onto the fact that you and I don't like to answer that question anymore. How's Dear White People? Because we've answered it so many damn times over 9 months that we're just like, I'm not answering it anymore. People think you don't like it. It's like, no, I just don't want to tell you that I think it's good, but it has problems, because then you'll think I don't like it.
But in hindsight, Travis, honestly, I believe that the reason why Wellington Love, who I'm calling out again by name,
he's the publicist,
was
by
the
way.
publicist who just really just got his, well, I wasn't going to say his panties in a wad, because then I would be insinuating something else. But the reason why he probably got bent out of shape is because they were in the process of trying to sell the movie, and they didn't want any negative press trying to get a distributor for the film. And it actually did take them a minute, Travis, if you remember. When did they finally get distribution? Like 5 or 6 months later, 7 months later?
It was a little while later, yeah. It wasn't right away.
But Dear White People, I'm glad it's out. I was on social media all weekend. People seem to really like the movie a lot.
It's got a really high score on Rotten Tomatoes. I know when I posted my review on there, it was at 100% at that point.
Watch this. And Travis will get payback in 2 months when it's time to submit the Black Reel Award nominations. Dear White People's on the ballot.
I'm mistaken, by the way, because I posted my review on that back in January.
Hey, Travis, man, Dear White People's on the ballot this year, man. What's up?
Good. Well, what else would it be going against?
Selma, Beyond the Lights, Annie.
Selma, probably.
Get On Up.
Annie, Get On Up. Okay.
Addicted.
Depending on
No Good Deed.
Depending on the category, it could get a vote from me. It depends.
All right. Wellington Love, you heard that, right?
If Tessa Thompson's nominated for something, she might get a vote from me.
She's going to be up.
Yeah, she's
on the short list. And Tyler James Williams will be on the short list.
Would she be Best Actress or Best Supporting?
She'd be Best Actress.
Okay.
She'd be Best Actress by virtue that we just told you that she's the best reason to see the film, and the movie sort of kind of goes. They spend more time focusing on her story than any other story. So
no, you're right. I would agree.
All right. So what's our last movie, man?
Our last movie is The Book of Life, animated film from Jorge Gutierrez, produced by Guillermo del Toro. Although it looks like something del Toro would have directed.
It does, like an animated version of one of his real films.
It does,
like Pan's Labyrinth with.
Yeah, it kind of does. Let's roll a clip of that.
What did I miss?
Oh, wait a sec. Did he propose to?
No. Were you going to?
What?
Well, I proposed first, so go fight a bull or something.
You two are acting like fools.
Wait, me too?
Oh, you're so strong, Joaquin. Thanks, I work out a lot. I love you, you know that. But how are you going to protect Maria if you can't even finish a bull?
Oh, yeah? Well, you will never be as great a hero as your father.
Oh, you better get your finger out of my face.
You don't point at me.
I'm the best pointer you have seen. That's so stupid, so childish. Joaquin! Come at me, bro.
Manolo! Huh? What? You wanted a banjo?
Hey, man. Travis, you and I have watched enough animated films over time where sometimes there's this fine line where you're trying to tell a story but then you're trying to make it kind of relevant and use
Right.
enough pop culture references so that little young kids can kind of get it.
Yeah.
And sometimes in movies like The Nut Job that fail miserably at it.
You know what? You always bring up The Nut Job as a movie
Why
that
do
you hate.
I bring up The Nut
I've
Job?
never seen it, so I know it's terrible.
No. I believe you should watch it so you can understand all my
am
Nut
not-
Job references.
I
And you
would
know the
probably
worst
never see
part
that
of it
movie.
is the title is so indicative of the movie.
Because it's so damn obvious. It's like The Nut Job's like
No, but it's about what I'm saying. There are movies that get it right, like Lego movies, another good example of a film that gets it right, that there's enough pop culture references, but then they're able to tell a really good story. And I think The Book of Life does an amazingly fine job of showing me something that outside of the Disney DreamWorks kingdom is something that I haven't seen before, like a story of this kind of Mexican culture,
Mexican flavor,
which I think is really well done and very informative. I'm not sure how accurate it is because I'm not Mexican American or a Latino.
Yeah.
But I love that I learned a lot of stuff watching this movie, and the voice work in it is really good.
Yep.
Now the only time I think they really get sort of kind of cheesy is when the Ice Cube candle maker character comes up, where I got to hear yay.
Yeah, that's Ice
no, but the rest of that
Ice
stuff,
Cube.
like that scene we just watched, get at me, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was funny. I thought it
it's
was
funny.
well done. I like this movie a lot as well, and I put it in my list as one of my top 3 animated films of 2014.
It's my favorite animated film of 2014. I actually like it.
More so than the Lego Movie
I like it better
and
than
How to Train Your Dragon 2.
I actually like it better than both.
Wow,
And
that's
I
high
like
praise.
and I like those movies, but I
That's high
like
praise.
this movie more. I think I like it so much more because, like the Lego Movie, it doesn't look like anything I've seen like ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like it kind of looks like if Tim Burton was Mexican and he wanted to
That's
he
actually
wanted
true.
to reach back and into his culture. This is the movie he would have made,
Right.
Because it kind of reminded me a lot of The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's one of those holiday movies that you could probably watch every single year. And this one centers on the Mexican Day of the Dead, not your traditional American holiday, of
Right.
course. So it's already very different. But as you saw in that clip, the characters look different too. They're made of wooden blocks. They're heavily decorated. Their decorations basically tell you a lot about their personalities. Like the one guy you saw, Joaquin, is covered in medals. He's the brave fighter, and Manolo is the musician, and then the girl Maria is who's voiced by Zoe Saldana. She's the girl. She's the feisty one. She's the one they're basically fighting for, and they have been since childhood. They're all best friends, but both
she's
guys
made her decision.
Both guys, she has, but the movie does a pretty good job of
Kind of like
keeping it going. Yeah,
Yeah.
So basically, what you have here, you have this wager between two gods.
And who voices that? Because that I never got clear definitive answer.
Ron Perlman is Zabulba, who's
Okay.
the evil one,
Right.
And the other one is something Del Sullivan, Kathleen Del Sullivan. I think she's a Latin superstar.
Hey,
or something
she's
like that.
good. I like her though.
So, but yes, they make this wager on which one of the boys is going to win Maria's heart. And of course, Zabulba, being who he is, he's kind of devious. He cheats. He gives Joaquin this medal that makes him invincible and heroic and brave. And it also makes him, he can't be hurt or anything like that.
Right.
So he cheats basically, and then he cheats again later on in a way that I'm not going to tell you about because I don't want to spoil the movie. So that's basically what you have here, and like you said, this movie is so different than anything else. That was the first thing I took away from it, was that this doesn't look like anything I've seen from Pixar or Disney or DreamWorks.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like something totally original, and I didn't even mind the fact that they put in like Mumford and Sons or Bismarcky, and like the music that you're like, yeah, okay, you put that stuff in
Yeah,
there
a
to
little
appeal to
cheesy.
people. They gave it like a little Latin flair, which is good. But I like the fact that it wasn't afraid to be Mexican.
Right, and I love the aspect of family, man, and their culture, which I really thought was also very well done because, in the Day of the Dead, you have to remember all your ancestors, and then there's a part of the film where Manolo actually has to encounter the lion's share of his ancestors who have gone before him.
Right.
And I thought that was such a cool idea, and it was very well executed.
Right.
So, I thought, again, not only did it look different, but from a subject matter, I thought that was different as well, because I think that's a little heavier than what ordinarily we would see from an animated film like that.
Right.
Outside of a movie where that was kind of, we talked earlier this year, that balanced the light and the dark stuff well, and How to Train Your Dragon 2. The Lego movie is not necessarily.
Both movies share a thematic similarity because they're both about the weight of expectations placed on us by family. So you got these two, like Hiccup. He's expected to be this great warrior.
Right.
In this movie, it's kind of the same thing. You have Manolo, who wants to be a musician, but he comes from a line of bullfighters, and he doesn't really want to be, but it's in his blood. So he does it against his best wishes, but he refuses to kill the bull, which is an embarrassment to his family.
Right, you cannot kill the bull.
Right. So you heard Joaquin make fun of him for that.
Right.
And then Joaquin, his father was this great hero. So he feels like he has to live up to those expectations too. This movie's all about that. Even Maria, her father is like he's like the governor or something like that.
Who desperately wants him to be with the hero.
Right. He wants her to be this prim and proper lady who marries Joaquin. So they're all dealing with that burden. And I think this movie does that pretty well. I think it gets all the messages across for kids. I think it's hilarious. I laughed an awful lot at this movie. And of course, it looks absolutely gorgeous.
I'm just going to tell you a hint, man, for people who are going to watch us and hear us talk about screeners in about 6 weeks. There are times that you send me screeners, and I get really, really excited. Like Travis will call me and go, "Hey, man, did you get such and such yet?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, let me look for it." This will be one of those movies that I'll be like this. "Oh, yeah, let me look for that one."
Oh, the family's going to love to watch this movie.
Now, speaking of movies because we got about 5 minutes left. Speaking of movies that people are going to really want to watch, without telling the audience what movie we're talking about, you got the press release or the notice for like the movie in 2 weeks that we have to go see that has absolutely no guests. And it's ironic because somebody asked me about it today.
It so has no guests. They sent out a separate email to say.
They sent out 2.
By the way, no goddamn guests.
No, Travis, they sent out 2.
Just tell them what the movie is. It's Interstellar. It's
dude,
Interstellar.
And I was at the sports bar today, and a buddy of mine was like, "You got me for Interstellar, right?" Player, no.
Sure don't.
No.
I sure don't.
Ordinarily, yes. This time, no. And you know what? How much do you want to bet dollars to donuts? Somebody's going to bring somebody and raise the entire film critic community like, "Oh, you going to let that person get
if somebody brings a guest, to Interstellar, it's going to be a riot up in that motherfucker. It's going to be a riot up.
And you know I'm already thinking about one person. I'm not saying any names.
I know.
I love your look. I know.
So
how do we get around that one, man? How's that gonna happen?
I don't think it will. I think they're.
I think it's gonna happen.
I hope not. I hope it doesn't happen because I'll be pissed off because I know there are a lot of people I know who want to go see it.
Man, everybody named Mama wants to see this movie.
Right. I'm a little disappointed they're not going to screen it at the same place they showed The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh. When did we see The Dark Knight Rises?
We saw that it wasn't the Udar Hazy. It was somewhere else.
It was like an IMAX theater museum screen.
It was at the museum, I believe. So
that ruined it for me, man.
God.
I saw that movie. I could not watch that movie anywhere else unless I could watch it right there. Now, what we're describing,
and the best part about it is it's so big that we didn't have to sit anywhere near anybody.
Right. And you know what? And nobody did sit next to each other. Matter of fact, I sat next to Gloria Jones. Well, actually, I didn't sit next to her. We sat like a row apart, but like I'm behind her, she was in front of me. But literally, what we're describing is the screen was 8 stories tall.
Right.
When we watched The Dark Knight Rises, it was ridiculous, and I would love to have seen those scenes with the spaceship.
Oh yeah,
I would love to have seen.
I had my fingers crossed, hoping when I saw the email come, I was like, oh, please be there.
But wait a minute, Travis. Contrast that with where we saw Inception. Did you go to the Inception screening with Brandon and I? I think you were there.
Yeah.
That was the worst theater in Washington to watch a movie. Oh, my God. Do we want to put them on blast, man, or just leave them alone?
Just leave it alone. It's been a few years. It's fine.
Oh, it was terrible. It was a terrible experience, man. And I'm looking at holes, light coming through the screen, like.
And now we got
Inception?
We got to go.
Seriously?
So we got to go to Silver Spring to watch Interstellar. So.
And it's stuff, man. I'm telling you, I am so geeked about that movie.
I'm excited for that, and I'm excited for the movie we're seeing tomorrow.
What's the one we're seeing tomorrow?
Birdman.
Oh. Yeah, I'm hearing there's a lot of Oscar talk on this one.
100%.
Michael Keaton, the
Everybody's
comeback.
talking about
Is that coming out this week?
Yeah.
Oh, so we're gonna be talking. So that's perfect. That was good. How you did that? Perfect transition.
Yeah, I've been.
What are we talking about next week,
for a little while?
What are we talking about next week?
We're talking about Birdman.
Anything else?
Yeah.
No, we not gonna. I'm not going to see Ouija, so I'm just letting you know. Tim doesn't do. I'm not putting those kind of movies into my spirit. I just Annabelle, Ouija. What was that other little horrible one that came out earlier? We're not doing that. Nothing else.
All I know is we're talking about that. We're talking about Birdman.
How much time do we have, man? Oh, we got 4 minutes. Cool. Since we got 4 minutes, fantasy talk, man. Let's break this down real quick. Films and fantasy. That we should rename the show Film and Fantasy. But anyway.
Because then they'd have to change the caption.
Nah, the Dig
down
the
there.
Film is good, man. Dig the Film is good. Oh, by the way, I want to thank, because I didn't get my stat sheet this week, man. Is there any country we need to do a shout out? Tunisia, South Africa?
If we got it, I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either, man.
I didn't look for it either. So.
Oh, we need to tell people socially where they can find us at, man.
Oh, well, you can find us on Twitter at Addicted to Film. That's Addicted, the number 2, Film. You can find us on Facebook. Spelled exactly like that down there.
You mean right there?
Yeah, right down there.
Wow,
except it's
nice.
not in cursive.
Hey! Go ahead.
No, that's it. Those are the places you can find us.
I was going to say, and also, we need to preview the Middleburg Film Fest because next week when we do the show, the following week we will be in Middleburg. Will we be back in time to do the show, you think? That might be tight.
It might be. We might have to figure something out.
Wait a minute. No. As a rule,
we're going to figure something out for 2 weeks, actually.
Well, actually, it was funny. Last year, you didn't do all because you got sick.
I got sick on Sunday.
So the Sunday, they normally announce the winners like early in the morning. We actually could do the show. We actually could do because they'll be done at Middleburg by about noon. Unless you want to stay and watch some.
What if they show something amazing?
They're not gonna really. You're gonna show something amazing on Sunday night at Middleburg.
Probably not. But just in case. But we could conceivably be here for the show. We'll just come. We should just toss Sheila Johnson in the back of the car and just ride over here.
Well, no,
at the end of the festival and just bring her
I got a
in.
better idea. We're going to record Sheila Johnson.
Okay.
And we're gonna play the interview that we record probably either on Thursday or Friday. I think it's Friday that starts, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll record the interview. So we will have that not next Sunday, but the Sunday after that.
Which reminds me, I was asked to find out what day you will be staying over at Shea Hopson.
So wait a minute, Middleburg. No, this is a good question. Middleburg starts on Friday, right?
So that we can put the tacks under the bed and the
man, Shea Hopson. I'm gonna tell you something.
Move the litter box next to your bed.
Hey, I was just reminded by our good friend Mike Scott that John Wick comes out Friday.
Thank you, Mike Scott.
Mike Scott's the man.
Mike Scott knows everything that we don't, apparently. John Wick. John Wick with Keanu Reeves, which they just sent me a nice little T-shirt for John Wick.
Who sent you a T-shirt?
I don't know. Somebody did. I got a John Wick T-shirt in the mail.
See, let me tell you something. Oh, he's giving us the finger.
Get the hell off the air.
Yeah, the finger. So get off. All right. Anyway, we'll talk about John Wick.
And your John Wick T-shirt, Travis.
John Wick.
Get off the air.
And Birdman. Next week on the big show. And we'll also be talking about the Middleburg Film Fest.
And we'll have Keanu Reeves here in that seat.
No, we won't.
Okay.
No, we won't.
Okay, we won't.
Until next time, Travis Hobbs, you got the last word.
We're out of here, guys. See you guys next week for Birdman and John Wick with Keanu Reeves.